Okay, so there's some new reporting from Dropsite News from Ryan Grimm and Murtaza Hussein on some new leaked Jeffrey Epstein emails. This time in connection to billionaire Les Wexner. If you don't know who Les Wexner is, he basically is a filthy fucking rich old dude. He used to be the CEO of like Victoria's Secret and a bunch of other brands, and he has previously denied staying in contact with Jeffrey Epstein post 2008, post the sweetheart deal, after he would have found out, like, if we're assuming the best and he didn't know, then he would have found out in 2008. He said he cut contact with him then. Now a bunch of emails are coming out that are proving the opposite is true, and that they were a lot more connected than ever previously stated. Ask Jeffrey. Epstein ran Wexner's pro-Israel philanthropy machine, emails reveal. The Wexner Foundation has long claimed Epstein did not make any decisions regarding the use of foundation's funds. New emails show that is flagrantly false. Our latest article on the life and times of Jeffrey Epstein is based on a cache of emails obtained by the whistleblower nonprofit Distributed Denial of Secrets, which provided access to them to Dropsite News. The cache includes the undisclosed names of Epstein victims as well as explicit images. Ew. Meaning it can't simply be published in whole without some redactions. So, sorry but why is this whistleblower nonprofit group able to provide this to Dropsite News, but the DOJ can't provide it to Congress? Or like Joe Biden couldn't have provided it to us when he was president? Like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, what is this? It's been really easy to brush off the conspiracy theories about Jeffrey Epstein, global elite, but the more and more time passes and more comes out, it's like, oh, they weren't crazy. They might be crazy people, but in this regard, they're not crazy at all, actually. It's fucked. But many of the messages can quickly be made public, and to that end, Dropsite is collaborating with the team that built Gmail to make new emails available and searchable there, beginning this week and rolling out continuously as we vet the remainder of the cache. Gmail is a searchable inbox of Epstein's emails that mimics Gmail. Good for them. Here's Jeffrey Epstein and Leslie Wexner, an undated photo from Epstein's birthday book from his 50th. Ew. Oh, you just look like a fucking... And what? This woman is redacted and he's like kissing her. Ew. A bunch of creeps. Ew. Like, ew. 6 months after Jeffrey Epstein's death in August 2019, the philanthropic foundation founded by billionaire fashion tycoon Leslie Wexner published an independent review of Epstein's involvement in the organization. In response to concerns raised by donors and alumni of foundation-funded programs, the Wexner Foundation is one of the largest contributors to pro-Israel causes in the U.S. Because of course they are. Jesus Christ. The review claimed that the Wexner Foundation staff had no contact with Epstein after his resignation as a trustee in September 2007, and before that he had played no role in the management or administration of the foundation's operations and had no meaningful role in the foundation's budget or finances, and did not make decisions regarding the use of foundation's funds. None of that is true. Just blatant lies. Hundreds of leaked emails from Epstein's Yahoo inbox spanning from 2005 to 2008 contradict the Wexner Foundation report. Inside the Wexner's family financial office in Ohio, staff treated Epstein as the de facto chief financial officer, where major decisions about taxes, lines of credit, 8-figure fund transfers, and politically sensitive grants were routed through Epstein's lawyer and required Epstein's approval. So Like they're like it's so fucking sinister. Like what? Like in order to not have him Epstein listed, they would have his lawyer be the guy that they would talk to, and then it would be like the go-between. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck? Uh, and you're these people are trying to convince me that he wasn't a spy. Like, I don't know. It's gonna just weird. Like weird. The new email cache was vetted and published by Distributed Denial of Secrets and contains many of the same forensic signatures as the dataset reported by Bloomberg earlier this year. Officials from the Wexner Foundation, the law office that conducted the review, and Epstein's former legal counsel did not respond to requests for comment. The emails show that Darren Indyke, who served as both Epstein's personal lawyer and attorney for the foundation, was the middleman in such communications, cloaking Epstein's foundation-related activities with attorney-client privilege. So, oh my God, this is so so basically, Epstein was the one making all the decisions, but the lawyer was the one officially in the position, and all of the communications with Epstein, where he was actually controlling the foundation, are within attorney-client privilege. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh my God. Indyke is also the executor of Epstein's estate, which has been accused of obstructionism for withholding privileged emails from civil lawsuits and congressional subpoenas. The Wexner Foundation's independent reviewers did not have access to the emails published here because, according to the 2020 report, the Foundation's archive of emails does not go back to Epstein's time as a trustee. On paper, the Wexner's philanthropic foundation and their retail empire, once home to Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie & Fitch, and Bath & Body Works, were legally separate and largely had their own staff. But in practice, as is typical of such foundations, one small family office sat over both the family's fortune and philanthropy. Internal emails between Epstein, Indyke, and Wexner's staff show Epstein as the effective boss of the family office and the real gatekeeper of the Wexner's money. What? Like, what? 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 This is a man who dropped out of college. Like, what's going on? In email after email, Wexner financial controller Peg Ugland wrote to Indyke with account balances for a web of Wexner entities, charitable trusts, private investment vehicles, and personal trading accounts with a recurring refrain: please ask Jeffrey if I can transfer. What the fuck? But I thought he had like no control over foundation. Oh, right. Okay. Epstein was the final authority on which Wexner entity should cover which expense, how to move assets between entities, and whether to approve large fund transfers for the Wexner's accounts. Epstein continued to advise on IRS filings and multi-million-dollar transactions until at least December 2007, 2 months after he had supposedly resigned as a trustee. Under Epstein's financial stewardship and after his departure, the Wexner Foundation bankrolled pro-Israel charities like college Hillels and free birthright trips. Jesus fucking Christ. These programs had a common mission of teaching young diasporic Jews to define their religious identity by their connection to the modern state of Israel, founded in 1948. So, birthright trips are just like propaganda trip. It's basically paying for young Jewish people to go learn all the hospara that Israel implied. Like, it's insane. Like, it's just a Zionist propaganda trip. Like, they are just trying to create little Zionists. It's crazy. For decades, the foundation had also funded the operations of Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, including the Wexner Israel Fellowship, which sent Israeli government officials to Harvard on full scholarships. Jesus fucking Christ. The tens of millions dollars donated by the foundation made Epstein himself a powerful player at Harvard. The relationship between Harvard and the Wexner family ultimately ended not because of Epstein's 2008 conviction for sex trafficking children, but after a falling out of the university's refusal under pressure to sufficiently crack down on protests in 2023 against Israel's genocide in the Gaza Strip. So, their association with an international pedophile sex trafficker, whatever. But my God, what is this world? What are we doing? What? My God. 4 days before Jeffrey Epstein submitted his guilty plea to state charges of soliciting a minor for prostitution on June 26, 2008, Leslie Wexner sent his friend an email. And this is fucking crazy. I'm going to repeat that last part. 4 days before Jeffrey Epstein submitted his guilty plea to state charges of soliciting a minor, a child, for prostitution, services of a sexual nature from a child. 4 days before Jeffrey Epstein submitted his guilty plea, Les Wexner sent his friend an email. And I quote, "Abigail told me the result, ... All I can say is I feel sorry. You violated your own number one rule. Always be careful." Epstein's reply to Wexner was contrite, no excuse. Not, oh my God, you've been internationally trafficking children for years and I was your friend. I'm so disgusted with you. No, not that. It's, wow, you weren't careful. I feel sorry for you. What are we? Excuse me? Go to fucking hell, Les Wexner. You fucking bitch. What is wrong with you? Like, hello? It's not like if one of your good friends who also was a business partner of yours was credibly charged with trafficking a minor for prostitution, wouldn't you have a response a little worse, like a little more passionate than this? Like, what the fuck is this? Abigail told me the result. All I can say is I feel sorry. You violated your own number one rule. Always be careful. He also violated 1,000 moral and ethical rules, the law, and if it were me, you violated my fucking trust, bitch. Obviously he didn't, because you probably fucking knew. You fucking evil fucking piece of shit. Epstein was introduced to Wexner in 1986 by Robert Meister, whose firm provided insurance for Wexner's clothing company, The Limited. Epstein quickly became Wexner's most trusted investment advisor, and by 1991, Wexner had signed over to Epstein complete power of attorney over his estate and all of his affairs. Jesus Christ. That year, why? That's so weird. That's so weird. Maybe he was smart with money, but that being an advisor and your power of attorney over your estate and all of his affairs, that's crazy. With all of Les Wexner's clear fucking attachments to the fucking Israeli government, it's just what's going on? And Jeffrey Epstein's clear attachments to the Israeli government and Israeli intelligence, specifically, that Dropsite News has done a great job reporting on. It's just everything just everything smells fishy to do with everything about this. Like it all stinks. That year, the New York Times described Epstein as president of Wexner Investment Company, and nobody has disputed that he had major influence there. Yet, Wexner's foundation has maintained his influence did not extend to the iconic, what? Okay. Pro-Israel philanthropy organization. The same year Wexner gave Epstein personal control of his vast fortune, Wexner formed the Study Group, a group of ultra-wealthy Jewish entrepreneurs. Oh my God. The ultra-wealthy will never just oh my, all of these CEOs and ultra-wealthy people, they think that they know best for everybody at all times, always. Like, why do you think you're so special? What the fuck? The self-importance is so crazy. The Study Group, a group of ultra-wealthy Jewish entrepreneurs who developed philanthropic initiatives to fund support for Israel. Meister's wife, Wendy, also introduced Leslie to Abigail Kopel, a young Israeli-American attorney, 25 years his junior. Ew. Epstein named trustee of Wexner's philanthropic foundation, and he supervised the drafting of Leslie and Abigail's prenuptial agreement before they were married in 1993. So clearly he was all up in your shit. He literally wrote your fucking prenup? What? Also, 25 years or junior? Ew. What the fuck? An young Israeli American. Google honeypot. God. The marriage cemented a deeper tie between Wexner and the state of Israel. He was marrying into Israel's founding generation. Abigail's father, Yehuda Kapel, was the commander of a special operations unit of Haganah, the paramilitary army that created the state of Israel in 1948. Jesus Christ. Haganah, forming the core of the IDF, Jesus fuck, carried out the ethnic cleansing of Palestine, later termed the Nakba. Jesus Christ. So so he married Satan's daughter. Commander. He was the commander of an ethnic cleansing. Wow. Okay. Ew. Wexner's new father-in-law had also played a foundational role in the birth of Israel's military intelligence. According to the diary of Israel's founding father, David Ben Gurion, Kapel served in Shai, Haganah's intelligence arm and the predecessor to Israel's Central Military Intelligence Directorate, Amman. During the Nakba, his unit conducted sabotage operations involving vehicle hijackings and explosives. In the 1950s, soon after the Nakba, Kapel moved to New York to open an office for Israeli state-owned airline which became a front for Mossad and Shin Bet agents, according to CIA and South African intelligence. Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck? You go back and I think a lot of us probably the past couple of years have been how the fuck has Israel been so insidious in American politics? Because even as a Canadian, I was very aware of what was happening in Israel. What I was not aware of and what I was ignorant to was the insidious nature of the Israeli government's interests in American politics and culture. I did not know that how insidious it had been, how insidious AIPAC had been. For me, I always focused on what was going on in Israel. I, for, honestly, I was ignorant to what was going on, ignorant to even what APAC was. Like, this is crazy. It makes so much fucking sense with everything that like, since learning about that connection, how deep it went. It was just like, it's been crazy, crazy. Since 1983, the Wexner Foundation has contributed hundreds of millions of dollars to Israel-linked charitable causes. Jesus Christ. You have 800,000 homeless people in America. How much? Also, like, how many people have worked for Les Wexner companies? Abercrombie and Fitch, Victoria's Secret, and have also been living on SNAP benefits or food stamps or welfare because he doesn't properly pay his employees. I mean, there is no such thing as an ethical billionaire. You only become a billionaire through exploitation of labor and humans. So it's just crazy, like hundreds of millions of dollars to Israel-linked charitable causes. Insane. Quietly underwriting flagship pro-Israel institutions in America. Although Leslie is the family's familiar public face, Epstein's emails suggest Abigail became far more active than Leslie in the family's finances after their marriage. As both the trustee of the Wexner Foundation and the director of the Wexner Family Charitable Fund, Abigail sits on both sides of the philanthropic funding pipeline, how money enters the family fund and how much of that money flows to charitable causes. Epstein and Abigail sometimes emailed directly, but most critical financial issues raised by Wexner's family office were routed to Epstein through Indike, the lawyer, who was both Epstein's personal lawyer and the secretary of the Wexner Foundation, according to an SEC filing. Which he wasn't. Obviously, he was just a fucking, like, strong, like, he was just like a shadow puppet. Like, it's crazy. In one example from Epstein's emails in August 2006, the family office controller, Peg Ugland, emailed Epstein's lawyer about a grant to the Jewish Media Fund, which creates and distributes Jewish heritage media for American schools and televisions. If any other country was doing that, you would be so fucking pissed. Like, America, like, if Russia was doing this and trying to distribute Soviet heritage media for American schools and television, it would be like five alarm fires. Like, what is this? Including a Sesame Street spinoff dedicated to Israel called Shalom Sesame. What the fuck? What the fuck? The Abba Eban grant was pushed as the highest priority in an email from Larry Moses, the foundation's president. I need to know if it is okay and if I should be paid from LHW Charitable or WF, Ugland wrote in Dyke. As was often the case, Epstein's reply was filled with typos and not simple to follow, this time making it impossible for his lawyer to decipher. Indike apologetically responded by asking for clarification, telling Epstein he had already confirmed that it is a U.S. public charity. Epstein's reply upped the ante on the typos, but was finally clear. Pay for Jesus fucking Christ. Epstein was often the final say inside the family's office control room, where emails suggest that there was a blurred line between personal, corporate, and philanthropic money. Epstein was frequently asked to approve funds transfers totally unrelated to philanthropy, including an April 2006 request from Ugland to move $1 million from a Wexner personal Holdings Corp at a Bear Stearns to a JP Morgan account with the same name. Dropsite found several similar funds transfers requests between 2005 and 2008, totaling tens of millions of dollars, with Uglin often explicitly requesting Indike to ask Jeffrey for approval. Jesus Christ. In a March 2007 email, Wexner attorney Charles Miller submitted an invoice to Indike with a note about 90% of my time was LSJ, Epstein's private island holding company, and 10% Wexner's. So 90% of the time was to Epstein and 10% was to Wexner. So ostensibly, 90% of the pay should go to Wexner. 90% of the bill should go to Epstein and 10% should go to Wexner. Epstein instructed Indike to split the bill in such a way that was not remotely in line with the declared work performed, charging the Wexners double for a fraction of the work, $200K from Wexner, $100K from LSJ. So, so for 90% of the work, Jeffrey Epstein said he would pay $100K, and for 10% of the work, he made the Wexners pay double what he paid for 10%. Like, it's crazy. The Wexner family office used layers of entities that kept real ownership of shell entities obscured from outsiders and regulators. Preserving the anonymity of shell entities' ultimate beneficial owner was a priority and specialty of Epstein's. While calling the shots for the Wexner financial machine, Epstein also sought to conceal his own role from financial disclosures. In 2006, Indike sent Epstein a draft amendment to Limited Brands Schedule 13D, an SEC filing that discloses who controls big blocks of a stock in a public company. Indike needed Epstein's sign-off, writing, "I just wanted to make sure the disclosures are acceptable to you before we file." Epstein wrote back, "Do I have to be named personally? If FTC is trustee, FTC is shorthand for Epstein's Financial Trust Company." So all throughout these documents and everything, his entire management of all of these funds have been done through a puppet, basically. So he didn't have to be listed on anything. So it could all be behind the scenes and super fucking shady. And here he is, like, it's an SEC filing, and he's complaining about being named. And then he wasn't. And even though he is fully in the role, it's fucking insane. Despite the labyrinth structure of shell entities, the staff of Wexner's family office were accustomed to treating Epstein as the true fiduciary, causing confusion as Epstein was slowly disentangled from the family's finances. Although the foundation's independent reviewer claimed that its staff had no contact with Epstein after his resignation in September of 2007, and he had no meaningful role before then, the email suggests Abigail Wexner remained at least partly dependent on Epstein for months after that date. Lying bitch. On November 23rd of 2007, at the beginning of the financial crisis, Epstein directly advised Abigail on executing a purchase of 1 million shares of Limited Brand stock, valued at almost $20 million. Wexner urgently needed Epstein's advice because the market was crashing and liquidity was thin on the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Isn't it? I'm Canadian, so Thanksgiving is 2 months before you. Epstein sent a detailed plan for executing the stock purchase on Black Friday and told Abigail, "Darren said frankly he thought you did not want me involved." Meaning he'd just been charged for soliciting a child for sex that he would pay for. And she replied the next day, "I spoke to Darren and I told him not to worry about it. In the end, it is not a problem." I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? You devil bitch? What the fuck did you just say? In the end, it is not a problem. Wait. Not to worry. What? Hello? Oh my God. Where are these people's souls? 2 weeks later, on December 7th, Leslie Wexner found himself in a similar situation requiring Epstein's counsel. Wexner had been asked during a board meeting at the Ohio State University whether he had any holdings in Mellon Bank, but he could not answer the question. Indike emailed Epstein for clarification. BNY Mellon is currently facing a civil lawsuit alleging the bank knowingly provided financial services in support of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. So Leslie Wexner was asked if he had any holdings in Mellon Bank, and he couldn't answer the question. Shouldn't you be able to answer the fucking question? And now BNY Mellon, which he potentially had shares in, is currently facing a civil lawsuit alleging the bank knowingly provided financial services in support of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. Like, it's all oh my God. As a looming public relations crisis over Epstein's legal troubles crept closer, Abigail Wexner executed a plan to claw back family funds trapped in a COUQ Foundation, a large Epstein-controlled entity which had been used to fund Jewish organizations, university research, youth programs, and hospitals. So they go on to say, basically, they go on to show that Epstein funneled funds to himself and misappropriated vast sums of money, and they acted as if they were a victim. They're not. They continue to talk to him. They continue to deal with him after they found out about it. It's fucking bullshit. Epstein entered his guilty plea in June 2008, but emails suggest he remained quietly connected to Wexner business, attempting to cultivate a relationship between Wexner and Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, the CEO of an Emirati conglomerate, Dubai Ports. Less than a month after submitting his guilty plea. Wow. He wrote to Sulayem on July 18th, "Where are you, my friend? Great opportunities. Did anything ever come of your Wexner meeting?" Jesus fucking Christ. After Epstein's public departure, the Wexner Foundation remained a major force in pro-Israel philanthropy. Jesus fuck. Funneling millions of dollars into programs aimed at boosting Israel's influence in the U.S. between 2003 and 2018. Jesus Christ. Inside Philanthropy tallied $128.4 million donated to the Wexners to Israeli and Jewish charitable causes, making them the third largest donor to such causes in the U.S. during that period. God. Wexner resigned as CEO of Limited Brands in 2020, 1 year after Epstein's death. That year, right-wing politicians in Israel campaigned against the Wexner Foundation and its fellowship programs for Israeli officials, claiming the foundation had a radical left political affiliation. I'm tired of the Zionists are not leftists. You cannot be a leftist and a Zionist. You are a Jewish supremacist. That has nothing to do with leftist values at all. Radical left affiliation. Fuck off. After Israel's national security minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, the fucking demon, decided to ban government employees from participating in Wexner Foundation's leadership programs. Wow. $128 million you can donate and still just be thrown down the fucking river. Wow. Another Likud lawmaker praised the decision, writing that the foundation was part of Israel's shadow regime. Okay. Praising Ben-Gvir for that is crazy. For writing that the foundation was part of Israel's shadow regime, which is what? Just the regime? What? the government and a long arm of the deep state. As if you are not. Like what? Like what? The accusations tied into domestic political brawl in Israel aimed at undermining former Prime Minister Ehud Barak, a close associate of Epstein, then attempting to re-enter political life and challenge current Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Barak's political opponents in Israel have long raised questions about his financial ties to the foundation. The single manuscript that Barak completed for the foundation eventually earned Barak to. So they commissioned the foundation. The Wexner Foundation commissioned him to consult and write two manuscripts, basically. The single manuscript that Barak completed for the foundation eventually earned Barak $2.3 million in consulting fees. The Wexner Foundation has stated Barak's payment was for 2 reports, one of which was never completed, and related advisory work. So, like, it's just like this. It doesn't fucking make sense. What one single manuscript that Barak completed for the foundation eventually earned him $2.3 million. Does that make sense to anybody? I mean, Barak is corrupt as fuck. We've seen a ton of email, and even like, if I've read passages from Virginia Giuffre's book, and Jesus Christ, Ehud Barak is a monster. Point blank, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to jail. Fuck Ehud Barak. The enormous payment became a talking point for Barak's right-wing political opponents for years, who cast aspersions on Barak and Wexner's relationship with Epstein. In response to attacks from Israeli lawmakers aligned with Netanyahu, the Wexner Foundation defended itself as an institution firmly committed to the interests of the state of Israel, decrying what it called an attack on a foundation that from its inception has acted from pure Zionistic motivations. Gag me with a fucking spoon. Like, what is we? Go to hell. Epstein continues to serve as a political football in Israel. Same as in fucking America. Netanyahu shared a Jacobin article on November 21st that included a summary of job sites' coverage of Epstein's ties to Barak and Israeli intelligence. Barak has dismissed claims of Epstein's involvement in Israeli politics as extremely... oh my God. As extremely... What? Like, what? What? Barak has dismissed... What are you talking about? Your emails proved that to be true. If we're at the point where we cannot just point out facts to you without being called anti-Semitic, I think you have beyond lost the plot. Like, you are suffering from a schizophrenic delusion here. You are suffering from some form of psychosis, because that is not rooted in any form of reality. Extremely anti-Semitic. Please get some sense in your head. What the fuck is wrong with you? Hello? And if me being critical of the government of Israel because of its ties to Jeffrey Epstein, because of the fucking genocide, the settler colonial state that's been fucking committing a genocide and has been doing an ethnic cleansing for the past 75 fucking years, because they think that they're so special that they get to come in on this land and remove everybody from it, move them to a concentrated area, and systematically kill them for decades. And if advocating against that, me being anti-genocide, if me being anti-anything supremacy, I'm against white supremacy, I'm against Jewish supremacy, I'm against any form of supremacy. If that makes me anti-Semitic, So fucking be it. So fucking be it. I'll be that. Because it's you who is in the wrong. And I don't fucking care what you call me. My principles will never change. Point blank period. Full stop. End of story. The names you decide to call me based on my advocacy for people's lives and well-being does not matter to me. I don't care. And I'm tired. And if that makes me a terrorist supporter, if that makes me anti-Semitic, I really don't care. So be it. History will prove me correct. And I think a lot of people need to start sitting in these labels. Who gives a fuck? Stop fighting everybody. Like, it's not, stop arguing with these people and saying that, oh, it's not anti-Semitic because of this, that, and this, that, and the third. Just say, okay, whatever. That's delusional. Anyways, next. Jonathan Greenblatt would have like no motion if we all just ignored him. Like, and what? What are you going to do about it? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. On August 8th, 2019, after Epstein's arrest, but 2 days before he died in jail, Wexner wrote a letter to the foundation community portraying himself as another victim of Epstein's actions. That takes nerve. Like, that does take, like, Les Wexner's balls are the size of Texas. Like, what the fuck are you? You were a victim of Epstein? This man, there's roughly 1,000 victims of Epstein who were young girls between the ages of 14 and up. These were children. Some of them still had braces when they came in contact with Epstein. A lot of them have taken their lives. A lot of them have turned to drugs. A lot of them have been through so much without receiving any justice. As soon as they were going to receive justice, it was ripped away from them. Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in his jail cell to cover up his crimes. And as soon as the Democratic Party got into power, they could have released everything to do with Epstein, and they chose not to. I'm struggling to understand why. The only thing I can understand is that Biden or somebody around him are completely beholden to this pedophile ring, or they're in it. I mean, Clinton is, Larry Summers. I mean, there's a lot of people. And, I mean, also, Biden is a fucking cuck to Israel. He signed a fucking blank check to that genocidal maniac, Benjamin Netanyahu. And everything that's coming out of Jeffrey Epstein's deep, deep ties to Israeli intelligence and Israeli politics, like, is this why you didn't want all the Epstein stuff to come out? Biden? You piece of shit. War criminal. This like Les Wexner, go to hell, you demonic piece of fucking shit. Portrayed himself as a victim? Are you fucking kidding me? Of Epstein's actions, claiming that he was deceived and that his trust in Epstein was grossly misplaced. Eat shit and die, motherfucker. What is wrong with you? I deeply regret having ever crossed his path, Wexner wrote. Well, I'm sure that your mother probably would regret having you if she was still alive. Fuck you, bitch. Go to hell. Like, I hope it's fucking hot. I'm so tired of this. Like, go check out Drop Site News. Show them some love. They're doing a lot of great work that the mainstream media has been just a clown show in not reporting on. And, like, it's just journalistic malpractice at this point. But who Who expects anything less from the mainstream corporate media, who are literally just there to propagandize the public, like, and pacify them? Like, the pillar of democracy that the press is supposed to be is crumbled, gone. Fuck the mainstream media. Fuck MSNBC. Fuck CNN. Fuck all of them. Of course, fuck Fox News. Everybody have a good night. Keep your eyes open. Like, this is crazy.